Hello, hello, hello. This is Sister Elise again with Praying with Purpose and Power. Now, for the month of November, I will be doing a teaching series based on my book series. The book series on Melioch Rams. Book 1 is The Chaos War. And then I have book 2, which is Angel's Whisper. And all these books are pretty much stories and parables about the spiritual realms and the hidden truths in the spiritual realms. Also, the different spirits, different demons, and different angelic activities that happens within these realms. And God had me write them starting like 10, 15 years ago. And I'm also working on part 3, which is Divine Executioners. And the irony is that when I started writing that book 7 years ago, it was about a plague. And of course, God sometimes have you, do things ahead of time. It's a form of prediction and letting people know that, it's coming, And this particular topic we're going to be talking about is the hidden truths in the spiritual realm. And the first one we're going to talk about is the first rebellion. And I write about it in my book. The first book on Amazon.com, Melioch Rams, The Chaos War, how spirits were released, how, Satan developed his kingdom, and how, it's important as people of God and as prophetic people to be able to pray and wage war in the spiritual realm, because this is a spiritual battle. So I'm going to be talking about the first rebellion, which was, when Satan got kicked out of heaven. And the thing is, when he got kicked out of heaven, he released, certain spirits, the spirit of rebellion and the spirit of pride. And one of the other demonic spirits is Leviathan. So when the first rebellion came, you got rebellion, then you had chaos. And so the enemy works in rebellion, and then he also works in chaos. So he's hand in hand with the Leviathan spirit. I know it is one of the demonic spirits, but it is an entity on itself because it created its own, realm in the spiritual realm. And then the enemy, created his own realm as well. That's why he deals with more of the pythons and the snakes and the serpents. But the Leviathan spirit is the king of pride, and he deals with chaos. He works hand in hand with the enemy. And so in my book, I have code names for him. One is actually representing Leviathan, which is chaos. And then the other one is representing Satan himself and his kingdom, and how they wreak havoc in the earthly realms to, hurt people, to bind them up, to destroy mankind's creation. And so I'm going to be coming from a, familiar text about, what happened to Satan, how the king of pride and how the spirit of pride, Leviathan, and rebellion was birthed through the enemy, through Satan. And his original name was Lucifer because he was an archangel, but he got lifted up in pride. And, of course, that's when he released the Leviathan. And, of course, when he took, a third of the angels with him, they agreed in rebellion. They agreed in chaos. So they all started being assigned different activities, demonic activities of murder, death, destruction, what you name it, infirmities, sickness, insanity, everything that's negative, everything that's demonic, everything that causes pain and sorrow on the earth. They started getting assignments, as soon as they got kicked out of the heavenly realms, God's heavenly realms, but they still operate in the spiritual realms. And you have to understand that it is a spirit world and it is real. They have their little part in the realms, and then God has his God heavenly realms. They just lost access to God's heavenly realms, but they still walk to and fro. They still walk in the spiritual realm to see who they can, possess, who they can destroy, who they can hurt in the earth. So they go to and fro just like the angels do. The archangels go to and fro. They ascend and descend. To see who they need to help, who they need to, protect, who they need to bring a message to. So they're always going up and down. And so as the angels going up and down, the demons are going up and down too. So I'm going to be coming from Isaiah 14, verse 12, talking about Lucifer, his original name. He became an adversary once he got lifted up in pride, and he started the first rebellion. And that's in my first, introduction of my book. When you read it, gives you kind of like a truth behind what really happened. So Isaiah 14, verse 12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in his heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Verse 14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. So he wanted to be like, the Most High God. That's why when he became a serpent, he became a type of serpent to bring forth rebellion among mankind so they could act just like him and operate in pride and rebellion and disobedience. Verse 15, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell. to the sides of the pit. So he's already been doomed and damned to go to the lake of fire. But the thing is, when he was released, he has access to the earth. He has access to go to and fro. Now, the thing is, the good thing about it is Jesus, gave us back our rights so we can, come against the enemy and subdue him and overpower him and shut him down. That's what we got access back through Jesus Christ. But initially in the first rebellion, he had free reign in the earth to do whatever. That's why you had all kind of spirits. You had all kind of demons being released at the time. And the spirits you see now, they've been around before the biblical days. They've been around even the first rebellion. And so it's important to realize how rebellion was birthed. That's where witchcraft was birthed. He developed all those works of the flesh. He developed all that rebellion. He developed all these tactics and schemes to go against God in his creation and to get man to be like him, full of pride, full of disobedience, full of rebellion, full of witchcraft. And this way you get the Leviathan spirit. And see, in my book here, I, give names. I give the, the Leviathan, presenter. And, they go to and fro. Satan said, I'm going to have my own. And then Leviathan spirit, I'm going to have my own. And there is marine spirits and there is, water spirits. And Leviathan is the king of chaos and pride. He has his own dominion for real. Dominion in the realms of the spiritual realm. And so does the enemy. And so they work two hand in hand. That's why, if you ever read H.P. Lovecraft books, he actually talked about the Leviathan spirit, the old ancient demons. And these are, the lords of the deep. And they'll be one of the, topics I talk about. I'll talk more about, how, Satan has, created his rankings and how, the chaotic spirit, the chaotic demon, Leviathan, has created his own, high rankings. And so they, do different assignments and send forth their spirits, their demons to do different things in the earth, including in the elements, including in the storms, including in the weather, including in the earthquakes, including in people, including in the government education. So they have all their spirits and demons in different places tactically to destroy, to undermine, to override, to annihilate, to murder. So that'll be my next video. So I encourage you to pray with purpose and power. And don't forget to get my book series, book one, Melioch Realms. That's the name of it. The Chaos Wars in Amazon, book 1. And so this is like the first part of the chapter. And then after that, I'll talk more about, different truths that God revealed within that book. So keep praying with purpose and power and look forward for the next video. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.